broken free from the orbit of the farm and are on a little jolly. What are we doing?
We are going to the main agricultural fair to see heavy equipment and get as many free pens as possible.
Yeah, whatever free swag we can get. This is the umpteenth Maine State Agricultural Trade Show, I guess. Anyway, happens every year. This week in January. So we decided to take a brief little holiday.
Realize I want to get a picture of this price here.
Well, we're just leaving now, the agricultural trade show, and I've got to say it was completely underwhelming. It is a small trade show in general, but it seems like each year it's getting smaller and smaller. There were only 3 tractor dealers there and just a handful of implements and things.
And the scythe guy wasn't there.
And there's some there were some tool vendors and some people who we've come to expect.
It used to be on 2 floors? This was just 1 floor.
No, they usually have workshops and breakout groups and things. There was usually more education opportunities and things. I didn't see any of that promoted. There weren't bags out in the foyer where you're greeted by people and it was very underwhelming and kind of sad, which is really a shame.
And not feeling representative of how vibrant an agricultural community this is on so many levels.
Yeah, I think if you were to go in there, you would think it's just Maine is made up of hobbyists and gardeners and people who just want a tractor to plow their driveway once in a while.
But I did get a free coloring book from Fedco.
Ooh. Well, Fedco was there. I mean, some of the big agriculture players and a couple of the big tractor dealers were there, but they didn't bring their agriculture lines. They brought their more homeowner lines of stuff. And so, yeah, as a farmer, totally underrepresented at this trade show. So I didn't take much footage, and we talked to a bunch of people, but the booths were kind of dowdy and
but I do wonder how
downplayed.
how much the incoming storm.
Well, we are expecting a massive storm, but they didn't know that when they booked their slot at the trade show.
But
you book months in advance.
But it could have informed how much they brought with them. You know, how much stuff you want to schlep.
Well, like I talked to one, he said we were limited to just this amount of space, so that was weird. Anyway. Hey, I have broken free from the farm and I have driven 2 hours north past Bangor to the town of Orono. Just dropped off our milk sample for Mabel to make sure that the milk is clean and we can start using it here at the Cooperative Extension. And I am driving over to look at a new tractor. And not sure. I'm hoping that we'll come away having purchased a tractor today. Been trying to get here for a couple weeks. There's one on sale, brand new. We'll go into it when I'm there, and we'll see what happens. We can't quite afford a new tractor, but we definitely need a new tractor, and we have to try and move forward. So I will be going to look at a new 110 horsepower tractor. Just checking out some of these cool big excavators. Someday, love to have a hydraulic thumb like that. But Marianne suits us just fine the way she is. All right, I'm at Scott's Recreation in Orono, Maine, and we just bought a TYM T1104 tractor. And just gonna have another look at it before I leave it. They're gonna service it and get it ready and haul it down to the farm in a week or so. And we can put it to work. So that's the unit right there. Big 110 horsepower, 114 horsepower tractor, something like that. Looking for where they mount the front weights when the loader's off. So I gotta look and see that, because I want to find one way of mounting some weights and run this without the loader. It's a big tractor. Got to figure out about wheel weights. Got a place for a license, got a place for a triangle, and a place for a beacon up there, but I don't see where to plug the beacon in. I'm gonna have to look at that. Here, let's just take a picture of that. All right, cool. Well, there she is. We'll be seeing it at the farm soon. Well, I just stopped. I've left the tractor dealership, and I've got to say, I'm really impressed with the service that I got from Scott's Recreation in Orono, Maine. Just a shout out to them. Super nice guys, super informative, super handy. We bought the tractor. This is not a sponsored deal. We paid for it. And we're going to use it like any other tractor. And there isn't a lot of information out there online about the 1104. So hopefully I'll make some videos about it and using it and my experience with it for others, because that is a big tractor. It's 111 whatever horsepower tractor. Yeah, so yeah, it's a little bit incredible that after all this time, we finally have a new tractor, and it's going to be the right size, and it should be a good move for the farm going forward. And it's a little overwhelming. We weren't sure that we could get it and that all the pieces would align. It'll be a week or so before we actually have the tractor, unfortunately. I mean, I literally could use it tonight, and I need it. I got to have something to get the silage bales brought home from another farm that we're buying them from. But anyway, I'm going to go grab something to eat. My stomach has been in knots over the purchase of this, but thankfully it was just such a smooth deal. They'll deliver the tractor, we'll sign the final paperwork, and it'll be ours. It's a bitter cold day today, struggling to be above 30 degrees. And vast difference than yesterday, where it was almost 50. We got a sharp wind and kind of ugly and nasty to be out, but we're waiting for something special to arrive. So I'm going to sit here in the cheese hut and watch the driveway. So what's coming? I'll know when it's here. I'm in our new tractor, a TYM T1104. And first off, We're in no affiliation with TYM. We bought the tractor outright. This isn't going to be a tractor review channel per se, and we're not going to talk specifically about TYM, the brand, or anything. We got the tractor from Scott's Recreation. Again, no affiliation. They're the biggest TYM dealer in Maine, maybe the only TYM dealer in Maine. Anyway, tractor just arrived today. I've had a little bit of a play around with it. There's a lot that I still don't understand. And at the end of the day, it is a basic tractor. It's 110 horsepower, something like that. 95 horsepower at the PTO, which is going to be critical when we come to plowing and rejuvenating some fields, and when we make the move to a bigger silage baler. So this is sort of future-proofing to get a tractor this big. It's got a loader. It's got a lot of nice features. But the bottom line is I bought it because of price. I've tried out most of the major brands, Massey, Case, New Holland, John Deere, sat in them all, driven many. I've driven a lot of tractors over the years. This tractor has a great range of vision around. There's not a lot blocking what you're looking at as you're driving, which is great. And I am finding, didn't expect this, this loader control is right over the throttle. So you kind of got to rest your arm on the throttle, which I'm not too keen about. I wish it was just a little bit further over here, maybe. But that's okay. That's not a deal breaker, especially because we've just bought this thing. I like the controls, but what I'm having trouble with now is this Bosch 3-point hitch controller. Don't understand it. It's a foreign concept. I've heard that it takes some time to get used to. And definitely, I managed to get the chipper attached. I was hoping to be able to chip some wood today. Looks like I got to play around a little bit more to get this thing configured right. So I also have to switch everything I have from category 1 3-point hitch accessories to category 2. I did buy some bushings for that, so I've got to get those out and get those installed. And there's a few other little things I've got to get set just to get going today, or probably not today, but tomorrow anyway, get some wood chips made. This is a big tractor. It's certainly one of the biggest tractors I've ever driven, and the biggest tractor or machine I've ever owned. Well, actually, no, the excavator is the biggest machine I've ever owned. So anyway, I'm going to be having to play around with this, and we'll do some, not necessarily review unless you ask me to review this and see, but I will be giving my honest opinion. I still have to go through the tractor. I still have to make sure that all the bolts are tight, that everything's greased. I literally only had it here for an hour so far today, but I want to try and get this chipping done. So anyway, you'll see this tractor a lot in the coming years, hopefully. We'll keep doing this for the channel. So anyway, give me a shout if you want to know more about this tractor, about TYM in general. Again, I'm not here to stump for TYM or Scott's Recreation or anybody other than our farm. This is a Bosch 3-point hitch, electronic 3-point hitch control. It's supposed to be like the bee's knees, like magic, but I can't figure out how to get this set up right. So like I said, if anybody knows how to make one of these run, and if there's a video about it, let me know, give me a link, because this is, I need it explained to me like I'm a 5th grader. Well, the new tractor's here, and I've literally just driven it into the field, picked up the wood chipper, and come out. Had a little bit of a play with it, but not nearly enough to familiarize myself with some of the features of it, and the 3-point hitch thing is baffling me still. But I gotta get the wood chipper greased and do some vehicle swapping, get this down there and start chipping. It is a vile day. It's below freezing with a wind chill. So good test to see if this thing will cold start without any kind of heat or anything. I don't even know where the block heater cord is or any of that. So yeah, gonna put this thing to use right away this morning because I'm gonna be gone all day tomorrow. I want the cows bedded with some fresh bedding. So my one chance is this morning I got an appointment at 2, so I've got from 7 now till 2. See what happens. So this is a category 2 hitch tractor, which means, I think it means the pins are meant to be 1 inch, or maybe 1 1/8 inch. I can't remember on category 2. But all my implements are category 1. All my pins right now are category 1. So I bought some little bushing adapters to go from, I guess, to the 1 inch. All right, the wind's gonna make that next to impossible to do. So anyway, I just discovered as the camera blew over that these are supposed to be category 2 hitches. My pins are category 1, so they're very loose. And I bought these category 1 to 2 adapter bushings, and they don't fit. So fortunately, this isn't a plow or anything that's gonna be dragging. I can pick it up with loose pins and come up with a solution later, because I've already got this attached. I need to get this wood chipping done. So this will be fine. That's just really annoying. Maybe they sent me the wrong bushings. I'll have to look. I'll have to get a pair of calipers out and look up the specs on what the difference between a category 1 and a category 2 pin are supposed to be. Annoying.
First tractor mod. Tractor came without one of the pins.
To this stabilizer bar keeper pin, which I don't know, it looks like it could fail, but anyway, maybe they did. Came on that side, but not the other. Oh, get things going. We're just gonna drop that in there till they can send us one. I'm down here just starting to cut some of the saplings and the balsam firs out of here to chip, and I was noticing that this little elderberry is starting to get buds, and same thing, the red maple above me is starting to bud out. It's February, it's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Yeah, it's about 7 degrees with the wind chill out here, and but buds, I like seeing buds. That means spring could be possibly close, and maybe the days will warm up. Clearing these fir saplings and this underbrush and stuff out of here will really help this grass grow. Get a little bit more light down in there and in this section here. It should kick off. A few years ago, before these trees grew up this much, there was a lot more light in here, and that's where I established this grass. Who was born down here? Trixie, I guess, who's 2 years old almost, was born in this wood while the cows were grazing down here. So definitely time to get it cleaned back up, get more light in here. So I'm down here in the TYM 1104 tractor. Yesterday, well, let's go back. So today's Friday. Tuesday's when we got the tractor, filmed a little bit there, I think, and got the wood chipper hooked up and moved out of where it was. But that was really all I could do Tuesday, the day the tractor got delivered. Wednesday, I had a little bit of time. Wednesday I had a doctor's appointment at 2, milking. We didn't finish chores and barnyard stuff and all the stuff that's involved in milking. I didn't really get done with that until 11. So I had from 11 to about 1 to do some work. I had gotten the wood chipper serviced, greased and everything. Got it brought down here, started to run it, got a little bit of chipping done. It was only enough to find out that remind myself that I'd left the chipper blades dull last time I ran this, and the reason they're dull is because they're at the end of their life. I couldn't resharp them. These blades have a double edge, so you can flip them over. You get 2 uses out of them before you have to sharpen it. I bought the machine used with 2 sets. The set was on there. It already had half its life used. The other set had just come back from sharpening. I sharpened them. So the blades I got with the machine 3 years ago, I've gone through. They really can't be sharpened anymore because if there's more damage on one side or the other, then they have to sharpen to maintain balance. They've got to be sharpened pretty much evenly, and so it wears out, you know, that you can only sharpen them so many times. Anyway, so I've got a new set coming. I can still chip. I just have to go with small diameter green stuff. It really struggles or gnaws away at hardwood right now. So that was yesterday. Wednesday. Right. Yesterday I had to go on deliveries. Allison had a workshop she was attending, so I took the delivery route. Couldn't do any work here other than chores. Didn't get work chipping done. The wood chips that I chipped on Wednesday before my doctor's appointment, I was able to spread up in the barn, which was nice. Got a full bucket. When I got the tractor, I also purchased a big, wide litter bucket, heavy duty, extra capacity bucket. It's not really as big as I want. I want one at least twice as big, but it now is 3 times bigger than either the skid steer bucket or the bucket for the bucket that came with the tractor. So I got a good deal on that. So I used that snow and litter bucket, it's called, but the wood chip bucket is what I'll call it. I used the wood chip bucket and was able to haul basically 3 skid steer bucket loads, which what I've been doing up until now. And that worked great. Got that spread in the barn, but the cows have already gone through it. Today is Friday. Haven't got any, it's gone almost 2 o'clock. I haven't got any work done yet. It's snowing, it's cold, it's nasty. And on Wednesday, just before I left, stopped work for my doctor's appointment, there was a problem. So one of the reasons I got this tractor is this tractor, as opposed to this model or anything else. This tractor is a 2002 model. It had been ordered by someone. It didn't end up buying it. It sat on the lot. Nobody was interested in buying a tractor this big until I came along, which is great. I got a good deal on it. I got a significant amount of money off that was worth me traveling for 2 hours north of here and spending some time looking at it. So well worth the discounted price to have a tractor. It's brand new. It had 10 hours on it only when we took possession of it. It now has 13 hours on it. But one thing I didn't realize, so something I knew about because of the Ram truck was quality of DEF, diesel exhaust fluid. In Europe, they call it AdBlue. It's basically urea that's injected into the exhaust system of a high-capacity diesel engine to help eliminate the nitrous oxide greenhouse gas and try and eliminate that. It's an imperfect system, really imperfect, and it causes a lot of problems across all vehicles. Least of which, a lot of people just don't understand what DEF fluid is. It's pure water and urea, basically nitrogen, and it has very narrow tolerances. It has to be fresh. As it ages, I found this out on the truck. It was constantly throwing codes. They wanted to redo. It was looking like I might have to redo the sensor systems, a lot of stuff. And then I realized, well, wait a minute. I did a deep dive into DEF and quality and usage and science and stuff, and realized, don't run a full tank unless you're using a full tank per every couple fuel tanks worth of diesel, because the longer the DEF sits, the more it cycles inside the tank on your vehicle, the more it degrades, the more impure it becomes. It can get condensation, can add too much water, so it's weaker. Heating and cooling cycles can break it down. leaks can drain away, it can concentrate, and urea can particularize and crystallize out of the DEF and clog nozzles and cause all kinds of problems. So old DEF is bad. You have to be really careful when you're buying it at the store to make sure you get it from a store that has a high enough turnover and that they're storing the DEF at the right temperature. It can't be colder than 40 degrees or hotter than 86 degrees, or it starts to deteriorate. And by deteriorate, it may still work, and a lot of vehicles it'll probably be fine, but there's always going to be that one vehicle where it screws up the system. And the other problem with DEF, especially in the winter, is that it freezes at 12 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, DEF systems and the tanks that hold the DEF or AdBlue, sorry, I'm watching the pigs snork around in the snow out here. The tanks have a heater in them because it can freeze, and once the heater starts circulating, it melts it before it starts feeding into the system, and it really only needs to feed it into the engine system under high loads when there's going to be a lot more noxious fumes produced by the engine. So go to Wednesday when I was wood chipping. Two things should have already alerted you from what I said. The tractor is 2 years old and practically brand new. And I talked to the technician yesterday because of this problem that we've had. And basically the DEF tank has been full since it got on the lot back in 2022. They didn't drain it. They didn't add anything to it at the shop when they serviced it. And so I'm dealing with very old, and it's been super hot in the summers here. So 2 summers worth of heat cycling and freeze cycling without it being run through the system, it could be degraded. I wouldn't have known that and didn't know that until on Wednesday when I got in the cab after chipping and I was going to move the tractor and shut it down. It was screaming that the engine check light was flashing, and the DEF SCR, whatever that reclamation system is, where the DEF, that's basically the DEF going in, that light was flashing a fault. And so I think what happened is it was incredibly windy Wednesday when I was working down here. That's one of the reasons I didn't film, and I was also under a lot of time pressure. I didn't film a lot of the chipping or anything that was going on down there much. The wind was just howling, a minus wind chill. And so I think that the other thing was, I decided to try the econo mode on this tractor, which is unique and new. Well, not new to tractors, but new to me, and a feature of this tractor. One of the reasons I really wanted to get a tractor with all these features, this one in particular, it has this econo PTO mode. So normally PTOs run at 540 RPM. And that's what implements that run off of a PTO, the power takeoff shaft of a tractor. That's typically what they run at. So to do that, you set the engine RPMs usually around 2200, 2400 RPMs on different tractors, and that gets you 540 spinning RPMs out of the PTO. Faster than that, the implements can break down. Slower than that, they just don't work effectively. So 540 is great for mowing and baling and anything that has a spinning shaft back there. Some implements, however, don't need to be run at the 2200 RPM or 2400 RPMs to get 540. So if you switch the gearbox on the PTO, if it has one, PTOs usually have 540 econo and 1000, or just econo and 1000, or 540 and 1000. This has 3. This has 540 RPM, which we just talked about, 750 RPM, and 1000 RPM. Now, 1000 RPM is used for really high capacity machines like balers and some planters, and there's a couple other implements that really need the 1000 RPM because they spin up pumps and other things. I've never really encountered that in any equipment I've ever run. I've usually only used the 540 RPM equipment. So if you run your engine on the 750 or 540 econo mode, you can run your engine instead of 2200 RPMs, you can run it at 1600 RPMs. So for implements that don't have a high load, like a tedder or a rake, some smaller rakes, or like the wood chipper. It just needs to be thrumming along at an idle. The tractor has 100 horsepower tractor has plenty of traction. So at 1600 RPMs in the 750 PTO RPM mode, it's 540 at the PTO shaft. So you get the same amount of power, 540 RPM PTO, at less engine RPM, so you get a fuel savings. And also you're not running your engine as hard. So that's how I had it set Wednesday on the 750 mode at 1600 RPMs. So when I got back in, it was screaming that code. Now it turns out maybe on a windy winter day, that wasn't the greatest choice, but I didn't really know that, that the DEF system would fail or freeze in that wind. I hadn't been thinking about that. I thought the heater would keep up with the temperature, but apparently running it at low RPM like that may have caused an issue. I don't know. And I've since gotten some word from another 1104 owner who said that TYM recommended to him that he always run it at 2200, 2400 RPM and only stick in certain gears and blah, 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 which if that's really the case, that makes this tractor kind of useless, because if that eliminates half the use of the tractor for me in my mind. So I'm hoping that's not the case. Anyway, I haven't started the tractor or tried to start the tractor since I turned it off the other day. Oh, the other thing that happened when I was about to turn off the tractor, I don't know if I bumped the EGR or the exhaust gas regeneration cycle. So while the DEF system was flashing and engine check light thing was flashing saying attention, attention, the engine and computer took the engine off into a high RPM DSOX burn off regen cycle, which locks you out of use of the tractor at a high RPM. It has to be parked with the parking brake on for it takes about 20 minutes. So I couldn't shut, and you can't shut it off then or you can damage systems. So I was basically stuck here while that was going on, and I'm gonna have to maybe put a little cage over the button so that I don't actually bump it getting in and out of the cab, because it could go off, it could go as it sits. It's supposed to be sit on automatic, or you could force it. So if you bump it, it's always going to go on the force mode. So I'm a little nerve-wracked about what's happened with the tractor, the whole DEF situation. Partly my fault for failing to remember that DEF freezes, but also not my fault because this system should be able to handle cold temperatures. And they use these tractors all over the world. So a little unhappy about that. So I'm going to try starting it now and see what happens. It is cold today. It's bitter cold. The DEF still could be possibly frozen in the tank. You can open up the cap and you really can't see in there because the nozzle and the way it is. So, and I also know that I may have to take out the DEF filter and the injector nozzle and have a look at it, but that's going to have to wait on a warmer day. So hopefully I can get the tractor started and run, because I have a lot of work for this tractor over the next week. And I'd really be pissed off if a brand new tractor with 13 hours on it can't be run because of something as stupid as the dealer didn't drain the old DEF out of it and replace it. Well, I just started it up, and oh, it just came back. It had gone off for a while. Dang it. So that means I might not be able to drive this on the road like I need to on Monday. Huh. That's gonna suck. That limits, when it's in that mode, it limits your RPM while you're driving. Yeah, it's totally locked me out of RPM. That sucks. Somebody's gonna have to come deal with that. So a little update on the tractor. I just spoke with the technician at Scott's Recreation TYM dealer, and there was supposed to be this little bullet connector that I could connect to get the code on it, but I couldn't find it, so he had to call me back. I found it while I was off the phone, but apparently the code doesn't matter. With the SCR light flashing and check engine light flashing, it's obviously the DEF system not pumping DEF or error signaling a fault. So they're actually going to come tomorrow on a Saturday under warranty to replace the DEF sending unit, drain the old DEF out of the tank and replace it with fresh DEF. And we'll see what happens then. We'll see if it runs. I'm really appreciative that they offered that quick service. I was a little bit spicy with them on the phone because brand new tractor. It's got 13 hours on it. I put 3 hours on myself Wednesday. I've got a lot of work. I have plans for it all week next week. And we're really going to work it this weekend. So having it non-functional, because when the tractor thinks it's out of DEF, when there's it I don't know if it's a regulation thing or whatever. Anyway, it limits the amount of RPMs the tractor engine can achieve. So right now it's derated to 1,000 RPM, below 1,000 RPMs. So literally I couldn't, as it stands, drive the tractor up out of the field. Maybe in creep gear, but currently the tech's not going to like working on it in the field here because I don't know if I can get it up and out of here with the engine derated like that. So a painful introduction to new tractor, DEF systems on a 100 horsepower tractor. Should have known. I don't know why I wasn't considering the temperature on Wednesday and the DEF system, but it's a brand new tractor. It should work, right? I mean, that's the point of it. So not necessarily a fault of the brand, the TYM brand, or the tractor, or even the dealership necessarily. Obviously, they don't deal, I think TYM, this is the only, well, the two new tractors that he just introduced, and this are the only tractors in the fleet that have DEF in them. Unless you're a big equipment dealer, you're not going to know a lot about it. You're not going to, unless you drive a diesel truck, you're not going to have experience on it. Most people don't even consider it. They're irritated by it. They delete the systems. They do whatever they do, but they don't actually investigate quality. So there's also different quality levels of DEF. And I found out with my Ram 5500, unless I use the Platinum DEF, it would always throw an engine code. So, and the other thing is this is untreated fuel. I always treat my diesel in my truck or my other tractor with everyday diesel treatment, EDT. It's just a brand. I'm not recommending it, but it adds lubricity. It helps clear plugged injectors. It's kept my old Big Red, my old case tractor going all these years, just having that little additive. And it certainly, as soon as I started adding that to the Ram truck and going with the premium DEF, all the DEF system errors went away. And I spent months tracking that down and learning about it, trying to avoid paying, because when these systems go wrong and they're not under warranty, it gets expensive fast. It is cheaper to pay the price to delete the system because it gets steep. And I don't want to feel that way. I don't want to say I just got to get rid of the environmentally friendly crap on the tractor. I thought I was running in eco mode at a lower RPM to reduce my diesel usage so that I would be more economical and more environmentally friendly. So I don't want to defeat the system. I just want shit to work, you know? I need stuff to work.